Welcome to another episode of Into the West Comics. My name is Frank, and I feel like I need some wishes that I got to renounce. Sonny is here,
Straight from the beginning.
What's up? What's up?
and we also have Hot Dog here. Hot Dog Paul is here,
Hot dog's
Hot
back.
diggity dog.
and we have a very special guest this evening
Yeah, we got some. Okay.
from the Great Pacific Northwest.
There it is.
My son, Jonathan, is here. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
There he is.
Doing all right.
That was the best introduction.
I was going to
For
say, that
anybody.
was
Yeah, thank
really
you.
I
good.
love it.
It's almost like he's your son.
Almost. I don't know. I gave a good intro to Donovan the first time he came.
That is
because he
true.
was George Lucas.
That is
Yeah,
true.
that
when he was on for the first time. Guys, we have a lot to talk about a Christmas gift that we all gave ourselves over the weekend.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie.
Well, it makes one of us. Okay, we're going to talk about the film that we're talking about, of course, is Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
And let's jump right into it. What did you guys think? Sonny, what was your take?
I loved it. No.
Oh.
I think 4 out of 10. I think that's what I'm giving it, a solid 4 out of 10. I think even on my notes, yeah, first thing I wrote down was 4 out of 10. It wasn't really that good of a movie. I was kind of disappointed. There was some cool highlights, and we were kind of talking about everything that was cool. Every moment after it kind of sucked, like the lasso and the lightning, and then she started kind of gliding a little bit. It was just kind of all over the place. I wasn't really feeling it. I like Pedro Pascal.
He was a good Maxwell Lord.
Trump light.
Yeah, right. He did kind of have that kind of vibe.
A Trump.
He did
vibe
kind of
there.
had a little bit of a vibe to it. I don't know, man. What'd you think?
I didn't really know what to expect. I had higher expectations than,
Absolutely.
than the payoff was. I actually liked the characters a little bit. I thought that Kristen Wiig was decent as Minerva / Cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Maxwell Lord or Pedro Pascal was a good Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
They kind of divert a little bit from the actual origin of what Maxwell Lord is about.
Yeah.
But
Same with Cheetah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the movie was, if all it was is to be entertaining, then great. I was sort of entertained.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got to see a movie with like a bunch. There's 6 of us who went to go see the movie.
That was
So,
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
so
nice.
That was really
that part of it was fun. I didn't really think the movie was really that great. I
No.
don't know how. We're gonna get into a little bit later on about this in more detail. It doesn't seem like DC films in general have an end game in mind, pun intended. They don't have an idea
that's
to kind
a really
of-
good point.
connect everything.
Yeah, it's just all over the place at this point.
Yeah, I've got some things to say about that after we finish with the review.
Well, what
Sure.
what did you think of the movie?
But the
Because I remember what the first thing he said to me after it was over. Oh, that wasn't very good.
no, I was like, it's
Literally.
that's 100% what I said, and I've reeled back a little bit from it because when I finished, I had pretty high expectations. I think I had higher expectations than most of the people in this room.
Yeah.
And I read a bunch of Greg Rucka stuff before going to see it because I was excited and I was like, woo, and then I watched it and I was like, boo, and then I was like, dang, that really there was like. I could probably count the amount of moments on my hand that I was like, oh, that was really cool. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. But I've reeled back a little bit from that and like, it's still not good. I give it like a 5 out of 10. But I was very disappointed, and I started taking notes in the middle of the movie. And at one point, I checked how long the movie was. 'Cause I was like, geez, this feels really long.
I'm ready for it
It's
to
over
kind
2
And I was
hours.
like,
Yeah,
I
it's
was like,
2.5.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
man, we've only been here for an hour, and there's an hour and a half left or something.
What about for yourself? Because you didn't see it in the theater. It was
No,
a
I-
different transition.
Yeah, we watched it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat down on the couch and
Nice.
said, I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah. It's free now.
It's free now, HBO Max.
Oh, free.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
free.
already paying $15 for it.
I mean, it's something. You watch the movie and kind of the same thing, kind of counting the minutes at a certain point, like when they get into the invisible plane.
Yeah, that was
No.
a little corny.
Yeah.
That was
that she turned it invisible.
She turned it invisible.
She's an illusionist now.
She has magic.
We should say spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoilers, everyone.
spoilers.
Oops.
Yeah, it happens.
Oops.
I don't think we spoiled anything too big yet.
Yeah, I don't
so-
think anybody's really too hyped on this
Nah,
one.
yeah.
People are debating
Yeah.
on seeing it now.
Yeah,
I'm not
real-
gonna watch
real
it now.
sorry if that ruined your day.
Oh, yeah, you're
What?
right.
This guy said it sucked.
But yeah, I definitely think there was parts of it that was like enjoyable as far as like the DC movies, like we call back to like Aquaman or some of the old like of this new saga of DC movies. It has those really cool cinematic moments, but you just say at the end like, was that there for like who is that for?
Mm-hmm.
Like who is this movie targeted for? It
Yeah.
kind of just felt like it was put everywhere, like they were trying to do the '80s filler, And
Yeah.
I mean I'm in the 2000s, so the '80s don't really represent my culture a
It
lot.
doesn't. It doesn't
You know.
resonate the same. And
Yeah.
I think we were talking as soon as it ended. It kind of corners them into kind of like a corny wall. Like they have to only stick to the '80s and like all this. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think what did it for me was when he turned the Dreamstone into himself, and now he's like the genie in the bottle, going around granting wishes for power, and then it turned into this. I don't know, this whole different kind of movie for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be bouncing all over the place as we bring stuff up. But like my question was, so you know how the Rock takes things from you and gives things from you. So
Yeah.
the thing it was taken from Maxwell Lord was his health.
Right.
And my question is, if he dies, does he just turn back into the Rock?
Probably
Like what?
Hmm.
And then how come
because like the physical form of him is
Yeah,
dead,
and so you
the
know
Rock's
how-
still gonna go on.
as the with him as the Rock, he grants a wish, they lose something, and he gets to take something from them.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, what was the Rock like?
Well,
Influencing people to do? Like he was like, oh, you're gonna shoot a bunch of nukes off. Like
Right.
what? And it's like, I don't know if I'm making sense here, but the vague abilities of the Rock and how they changed ever so slightly when it became the him
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And there's multiple times where they just make stuff up as they go along.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
all of a sudden on the plane, he's like, oh yeah, you can have a second wish, Cheetah, if I want. But earlier in the movie, when he tries to get the person to give him an audience with the president, he's like, oh, it doesn't work. All
'Cause
right,
you
I
already
gave you
used
a
your
wish.
wish.
You can give people a second wish. You're just
Right.
making stuff up as you go along.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man, I don't even
There's a
understand
couple
what's
of
happening.
there were a couple of like little red alarms that go off in my head when they talked about this story being written. It's Jeff Johns, Patty Jenkins are collaborating. Gal Gadot is actually a producer on this film.
Wow.
I don't know if that's ever a good sign
Yeah.
for the star to be
yeah.
a producer
Hmm.
as attached to the film. I mean, if it's just like an EP credit and it's like that's it, then that's cool. But
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a influence they've already greenlit a third Wonder Woman movie. It's already going forward. Patty Jenkins.
I was
is
gonna say Patty
attached.
Jenkins. Does this
Yep.
to steal your question from when we left? Does this make you worry about what she's doing for Star Wars?
No.
No?
I think DC is a mess.
Yeah.
And that's not Patty Jenkins. It's a miracle the first one was good.
But
Solid.
But do we have? It depends on what kind of script treatment. Is she going to have influence on the script for the Rogue Squadron film? I think it's Rogue Squadron.
I think it's the Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. Is she going to have influence on that script treatment, or is this going to be something that they're giving to her, and she's just going to take it and?
Because I just saw
That's
the
it.
little kind of trailer thing for it again when she like hops out the trunk and walks
Walks to
towards
the X-wing.
I don't know. The way that this was put together definitely had me a little worried. Maybe because we've been getting so much awesome Star Wars. I don't want it to get ruined from this little bump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the problems with this movie come from like DC doesn't know what they want to do, and
They're missing a Kevin Feige. Like they're missing the guy behind the guy there.
Yeah.
That's like,
and that's
this isn't working.
Supposed to be Johns, but I think the problem with having Jeff Johns do it is I love Jeff Johns writing on DC. Most of his stuff his stuff goes from either fine to great. I don't think I've ever read anything Johns and gone, well, this is terrible. But how many movies has he produced or written on that are just bad?
Yeah.
And I think it's because he's what's his title, the chief creative officer or whatever.
Right.
He's running
Mhm.
the movies and the comics, and I think John's like long form storytelling lends itself to comics better because you can tell stories differently in comics than you can just like in a book than you can in movies.
Well,
And-
see, to piggyback on that, DC, all of DC's animated films are gold, pretty much. You know what I mean? They're all awesome. I wrote down a couple, like the Flashpoint one was sick.
Mhm.
Son of Batman was sick. The Throne of Atlantis was sick. Outsiders, the whole Teen Titans Outsiders is awesome. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, super good.
Super good.
Like,
I just finished it. So they're able to play around a little bit more when it comes to animation or comics. You know what I mean? Translating that to live action is definitely more
Give a little more
expensive.
freedom.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Trying to make something like that, like a Teen Titans TV show from what we got to what it's the live action is completely different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Super gritty too. That live action show.
I really like it.
They've made it dark. I mean, there's definitely it's a transition in tone
Yeah,
for the majority of the Marvel content versus the DC content.
for sure.
They definitely want to. I mean, the Wonder Woman and Aquaman films, are obviously a different kind of thing, but
Yeah.
most of the DC properties, have a darker tone
Mhm.
set to them. All of the Jeff Johns and Greg Berlanti CW series that that they have an influence over, and they
Mhm.
have their hand in. All those series sort of have like a darker tone to them.
They do.
Mhm.
They're a
Because
little
Arrow
edgier.
Arrow is
Yeah.
dark. Like he's like
It's
straight
dark.
up like murdering people, and
Mhm.
you know what I mean. So Flash kind of gets a little happy-go-lucky. Batwoman
Mhm.
wasn't too good. I watched
It's
a little
okay.
bit.
I haven't
I
watched
haven't
any
seen
of that
it.
yet.
I mean, new girl now, so
It's a new girl, so
Mhm.
I heard like the whole Ruby Rose, she was being difficult, and they're like, well, we could replace you. Like,
Sure.
yeah. And she also almost died on set, and then they kind of just threw her to the wayside. Remember, she had
Oh.
that giant accident.
oh, see, I didn't even know about
You know,
that.
yeah,
that
the,
sucks.
The original actress. It was like their third or fourth episode that they were shooting. That like I remember seeing something about that she like
Wow,
was
that
doing a
sucks.
jump or something, and they had her do a stunt, and then she got injured. I'm
Oh,
fairly certain that was like that
See,
was the one. Yeah.
that's not going to make you real secure.
Batwoman.
And
Yeah.
no,
what
that's
you're
not
doing, so.
what you're doing as your show and your career and your project. So I think as a total, DC does a good job at making things a little bit more darker and gritty. So the wiggle room is a little easier, but like we're talking about, comics and animation are completely different from live action.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But you have that built-in connectivity to everything that's MCU related,
Oh yeah, for
to
sure.
where you don't have to rely on that one movie
Yeah.
or those two movies or that series to carry you through and tell you the whole story.
Right.
I still don't really know if I can tell you what the whole story was about the Wonder Woman movie,
No, because
because
it's
it felt like
it's
a bunch of stories.
it's all these different timelines. It's a love story of her and what's his name, Steve
Steve Trevor.
coming back. It's a origin story of kind of half origin story of Cheetah, and then there's this Maxwell Lord guy, and then there's the Olympics in the beginning to show that she has
The Olympics.
The
You know what I
Olympics,
mean?
The
Yeah.
first Olympics.
I mean, the first Olympics. It's very important.
That is
Olympics,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
It was neat.
I mean, I started this movie. I was actually pretty excited because the Themyscira Olympics things was fine for me. I was like,
I thought that was
whatever.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
I thought that
and then
was
the
kinda
opening
cool.
scene in the mall, I was like, this is great. This is like freaking Christopher Reeve Superman. She's
Yeah.
running around saving people.
Mhm.
that's what it felt like.
I was
Mhm.
like, this is like
This is gonna be pretty
this
cool.
is gonna be really good. I'm super excited. Everything I'm liking so far. She's Wonder Woman. She's
Right.
everyone's in awe of her and
Right.
this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, ooh, I can't wait to see like the cheetah stuff. And then she walks in, and Mark put it the best. Kristen Wiig is an SNL character for like the entire movie. She's not
Yes.
a real human being.
Yes.
And not to mention, Kristen Wiig is a pretty woman. She
Yes.
undeniably. She even in that frumpy outfit she
Yeah.
had, she walks in, her papers fall on the floor, and nobody on the entire world is gonna walk past that woman and be like, pick up your own stuff.
No, right.
It's like none of these people are real people. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, I don't know where it got lost. I don't know what happened with the script, or maybe too many hands trying to do too many different
Mm.
things.
I think that's what it was.
And it's like you get things like I said that don't make sense, and it's like, why is Barbara Ann Cheetah mad at Diana in this?
Right.
They
like
don't
in-
explain it to
In
Yeah.
the
No.
comics, it's
really.
like, well, Wonder Woman's lack of action with the god or Taga or whatever, however you pronounce his name, I can never
Mhm.
pronounce it, got Cheetah turned into Cheetah,
Mhm.
and that's why she's mad at her. So it makes
Right.
sense in the comics, even though Wonder Woman still considers her a friend. In this, it's like, why is she mad at her?
Yeah, like why
Right.
are you
Like,
in this?
why are you tripping?
They met like 3 days ago,
Yeah.
and she's like,
been-
"You have everything. You
And
have
she's been nothing
everything.
but
You
nice
took
to her.
everything from me.
You
It's like,
took
whoa.
everything. You're- Oh, I don't even know who you are.
Okay,
Oh
That's
man.
great.
a better
yeah.
movie.
A better movie, you know.
Okay, so overall, I mean, I agree with you guys. I'd give it like a 4 or a 5. I don't think it's the worst DC film.
Definitely not.
No.
Good transition. What do you think the worst DC film is?
Oh, I haven't.
The worst one.
The
Whoa,
worst
whoa,
one.
Are we talking
Of the last like 10
DCEU?
years?
DCEU?
The DCEU
Yep,
or
all of it.
All of it.
Oh, like even,
Jonah Hex included.
Oh my word.
Oh, well then Catwoman.
Then
But that's no fun.
Halle
so-
Berry Catwoman.
Yes,
That was
Catwoman's pretty
Terrible.
bad.
but
Halle Berry's fire though.
you're like Halle
I'm
Berry.
gonna go
Halle Berry fired up.
just DCEU. I'm gonna say it's between.
There's like 9 movies. I think
Yeah, I
that'd
had
be
'em
considered
written
DCEU.
Uh,
8 or 9.
I'm gonna say probably Justice League.
Ooh.
Justice League
The
or
Justice
Batman versus
League?
Superman. The
Wow,
Justice
I
League,
really
yeah.
liked Batman versus
don't.
That's
Superman.
my favorite so far.
I
Out of all
really-
the DC stuff. stuff.
I really liked it.
I hate that movie.
That warehouse scene with Batfleck was
That's great.
so
Dope.
tight.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
It's one scene.
This is true.
Okay. Wow.
The worst one.
I'd say it's probably Birds of Prey for me.
You didn't like that?
It's in 3. No, you know what? No, Birds of Prey was better than that.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad was pretty bad, dude.
Suicide Squad was pretty bad.
Mhm.
Suicide Squad really bummed me out.
It really bummed me out
I
too.
think
really
you
bummed me
broke.
out.
If you broke, okay, you break Birds of Prey into 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
The first act is really cool because you get the backstory
Mm-hmm.
about her and Joker's breakup.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second story, second act, she's establishing herself. The third act is just a free fall.
Right.
I won't disagree with that. Yeah.
They're just
There's a roller derby boss fight.
I signed up for it.
and there's
I buy my ticket again. I love
there's
that part.
there's a girl
Won't.
and
It's like-
these randoms like they're beating up like just a group of dudes
Mhm.
like
Nah, it wasn't that good.
on roller skates.
On roller skates.
Yeah.
That was
And-
terrible, dude.
One thing I want to touch on is I find that like because we're all guys that read comics and write like stuff like that, and then when a comic book movie is bad and they deviate from the comics, we're like, well, the comic was good. Why didn't they just do this?
Why don't you just stick to the script?
And
Literally,
people,
it's
but
already
people
laid
who
out.
don't like read comics, because friends of mine who I live with are like, well, was it like when I said I didn't like Wonder Woman, they were like, is it bad or is it not like the comics? And I'm like, well, I think the
Yeah, that's where you start losing friends.
yeah, well, I think where the distinction there is, it's like if you change stuff, like look at the Dark Knight trilogy. Nothing is just the Long Halloween or
No.
Dark
No.
Knight
it's
or,
hard. It's
or
hard.
Nightfall.
That's what
They
I mean.
make
It's so hard to
changes.
explain that to somebody. You know what I mean?
and
Like,
then
They're
Shazam,
taking pieces of it.
you
Mhm.
they complete the story that's based on. They completely remove Black Adam from it,
Right.
and I love that movie.
Yeah.
And it's like if you change stuff, do it good, and then I'm not gonna do it good, do it well, whatever,
right.
and
Do it
I'm not
good.
gonna cry about it. No one's gonna cry about it. But if you
Right.
start changing stuff and then it's bad, it's like, why did you change it?
why'd you change it?
Sure.
It's
What's your-
already laid out.
What was your favorite DC film of the DCEU?
Of the DCEU, it has to be Batman vs Superman. I think it's fun. I think it has rock and roll vibes. I think it is a hero movie.
I agree.
And like seeing, I mean, the whole Martha thing, I think is one of the silliest like ways to neutralize a threat. It's like our mom.
Our
or-
moms have the same name.
And you nod your head. You're like,
Bond.
man, that
My mom's
I-
name's Martha.
wow. We should go picnic.
Right.
And
She's
I
like,
mean, Doomsday and like all of that, like that
It was
movie
good.
has some really cool stuff. There's a lot of moments where you just say like, really? And then you're okay with it. I think I accepted that movie a lot more than I accepted Wonder Woman.
oh,
See,
yeah.
You
I think
know.
I'm on the other side of you guys. Like, you're like, oh, really? Well, whatever. I'm like, really? No, I don't like this. I really
ruined it.
don't
You
like this.
you pissed me off.
Not to
now.
mention,
right.
it's a long movie, too.
It
It's a
is.
super long movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what was your favorite? I'm
My
sorry.
favorite DCEU movie is Shazam. Easily. I think it's the most fun.
Wow.
I think it's the easiest to watch. The best characterization of the main character. The Batman in Batman vs. Superman is not Batman. He's
Correct.
murdering
I'll
people.
agree.
He's doing this. He's doing that.
That's
He's
fair.
just wildly angry at Superman.
That's fair.
Even when
Yeah,
Superman's
that's
like
true.
explaining stuff to him, he's like,
I don't care.
yeah. And then what makes like what you said, what makes him stop is your mother has the same name. Like that's nothing I like. I've read comics for 20 years, and I've never even thought about the fact that their moms has the
I've
same
never,
name.
yeah,
And it's
that
like
never
that's
occurred
that
to
I'm
me
like,
ever.
hey, they do have
They
the
beat
same-
Thanos with friendship the second time, you know?
That's true.
The third
Yeah.
interaction with Thanos. They beat him with friendship.
That's kind of true.
Yeah.
So like, come on.
They beat him with friendship.
I'm
Yeah.
fairly certain.
Just,
I remember, Spider-Man beats him, and it wasn't with friendship. I remember the third time, Thanos, third or fourth. Don't wait, I can't get quoted on that.
he's like,
But
wait,
they-
hold on,
But
don't
I
quote
remember,
me.
I remember after the second time, Thanos getting like the Thanos losing like segments are all just like the dumb tackiest things, like friendship or we have all the Infinity Stones or whatever. And
Uh.
they just kind of walk around and Thanos loses.
I don't,
Mm. I mean,
We disagree on some things.
that's a Billy.
But that's okay.
Okay. So, with regards to DC, just in general, what do they need to do to make it more, I guess, more streamlined, to have this more connectivity? They sound like they're constantly. You can't keep starting over,
Yeah.
and it feels like they're constantly wanting to start over.
Yeah.
Whatever their universe is.
Yeah.
And they're going to do the Flashpoint movie, or it's going to be a Flash movie, but it's Flashpoint.
Right.
Is what it sounds like.
And that's going to do another reboot.
Right.
So we're like 3 down. We can't even get attached to these characters. I think Henry Cavill is an amazing Superman.
I
think
agree.
he is like, I think my favorite DC film is Man of Steel. Just bringing in this new Superman. He's super solid.
Mhm.
It gives me like, when you think of Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, you're meant to be that character. Or,
Right.
you know what I mean? He fits a good Superman.
I agree with that.
But I mean, after that point, it's like, what? Stop. Okay, now we're getting another Batman, and I think what they're going is doing the multiverse. They're trying to bring in their version of some multiverse stuff, because it's been, sorry to cut you off. It's been confirmed.
Well, I mean, I would have been cutting you off.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
It's been confirmed that this Batman that we're getting, this new Batman, is not from the same Earth. It's from a different Earth. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
are we getting some multiverse stuff?
We could.
They step right into Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
Like right away. They're just like, why not?
Well, they're so far behind Marvel. Man.
Yeah.
They have to do something that's
Mhm.
big that'll get fans.
Well, it feels like they're just swinging for
Mhm.
whatever they can.
Yeah.
And to try to like make up this gap.
Yeah.
That Marvel's created for their films,
I agree.
and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to
No.
happen in 1 3-hour film
No.
Right.
or a 4-hour version of Justice League.
No.
And
They're not going to get it all back.
a
like
lot of
that
these
quick.
movies for DC feel like damage control from the last one, and that's another reason I don't like Batman versus Superman. There's when they fight Doomsday in the park. How many times are they like, it's vacant, there's no one there, there's no one
Yeah.
there, everyone's home from their offices? Because the one thing people didn't like about Man of Steel was, well, Superman caused a lot of destruction, a lot of people probably died from that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of twofold, because that's one of the things I liked. I think my favorite scene from Batman vs Superman isn't the warehouse fight scene, which is incredible. It's
the
scene in the beginning.
Yes, bro.
when Batman is like, I was so hopeful, because I was like, okay, I get why Batman's mad at Superman.
Mhm.
But then as the film goes on and Batman starts murdering people, I'm like, what is happening?
Mhm.
And the movie is super long, and then like stuff like Lex Luthor, the way he gets Superman
I hate
to go fight,
Luthor, man.
not just that, but the way he convinces Superman to go fight Batman makes no sense at
no
all.
sense at all.
He's
Mm.
like, if I remember correctly, he's like, I have Lois and your mom or whatever, and it's like,
if you kill Batman,
like-
I'll free him.
yeah,
I'm like,
it's-
what?
you're Superman, dude. Just snatch that guy up and go get him.
Right,
Like,
bro.
what are you talking about?
Honestly,
And then I don't know, man. But it's
They're not doing a good job.
Back on my point. But oh yeah, damage control. It seems like they're trying to make up for different things and change. And then like Joss Whedon taking over Justice League, they wanted to make it more lighthearted and change this and that.
No.
And the only Zack Snyder movie I've liked from this is Man of Steel. I have my reservations about it, but I don't like the way Jonathan Kent dies, because the way he dies in the comics, heart attack. The point
Right.
of that is all the power Superman has in the world,
he can't
doesn't have the
save
power
him.
to
he
save him.
can't do anything about
Right.
it. In this, a tornado kills him. Dude, go snatch him up. Those
Ye-
10 people behind you are going to be like, whoa, Clark Kent flew and saved his dad. And everyone's gonna be
Right.
like, yeah, he did, sure.
Adrenaline.
And
I'm pretty fast sometimes.
and then
I mean, he also just puts on glasses and no one knows he's Superman.
yeah,
Not at all.
And
and
they
that-
still kept that, yeah.
So,
well, that's a little better. Have you guys read Superman? I think it's Birthright.
is that where they explain something up?
They
with
do a
the-
little better of a job.
Yeah.
At, like his glasses are super thick and dull. His super bright eyes. He hunches over and he acts like the frumpiest dude ever. And it's a stretch, but it's a better explanation
super
for why.
stretch.
It's a better explanation for why people. And it's like this super frumpy dude who works at the Daily Planet. He's not Superman.
Mm.
And the reason Lex Luthor, they explain it in that he just can't believe that a guy from the same town as him is
Right.
Superman. He's
Right.
like, Lex Luthor thinks he's the best thing since like sliced bread.
Right.
And he can't believe anything other than that.
Right.
And so
Do you think it's a good move for them to like sort of, I was going to say cinematically or surgically remove Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor in these movies
100%.
because they've added Jared Leto to shoot new scenes for this extended cut or mini series we're going to get
It's-
of Justice League.
Right.
It's
Is that a
4
good?
episodes,
Is that a
right?
good move? I mean, for them to just. He said he doesn't want to do anything with Lex Luthor as a character going forward. It sounds like this is just kind of Snyder's, send off. They're giving him the right to re-edit the film as he sees fit.
Right.
And then that's kind of it. Snyder isn't going to be doing a Justice League sequel. It doesn't sound like.
No.
We don't know.
Hmm.
But do you think that was? I think. What am I trying to say? If they're removing Eisenberg / Lex Luthor as the main villain in the movie, it completely switches up the tone.
100%.
The Justice League film, Joss Whedon's Justice League film,
That was awesome.
it was 30. They used 35 or 40%
Mm-hmm.
of the original footage
Yeah.
to make the movie.
That's crazy. It's
So
a completely
this movie can
different
be
film.
completely different,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of gives you hope.
Yeah.
But then again, they've missed the mark because they're not going to have connectivity
Right.
to whatever they're planning to do forward.
So again, it's like we got to get used to whatever this new change is.
Mhm.
Again, you're not sticking forward to this. We're so stuck into Marvel because it's been since Iron Man, everything has been set in stone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything. And we know all these characters. When someone dies, dude, I teared. I'm not going to say I cried, but like
You cried.
I cried. Tony Stark dying,
Yeah.
dude.
Right.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
not
what I mean?
cool. Mhm.
Not cool, man.
Not cool.
Yeah.
But if I don't know.
I think Marvel does a better job, whether it's out of pure luck or they actually have like a better team behind it,
They have
of
a
knowing
better team.
what to change and what not to change
Yeah.
when it comes to like pick and choose things from the comics and then take it. Because what is Endgame based on? Nothing. Like a little bit of Infinity War, but it's its own movie.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
it's
it
its own
is.
movie, and but then you have like to pull like a really disliked Green Lantern, or excuse me, DC movie Green Lantern. Have you guys read the Secret Origin or whatever that's based on? Atrocitus is in it. That's a super cool
Yeah.
comic.
Super
And
cool.
they remove Atrocitus entirely. And Atrocitus is like the reason why Abin Sur crashes and Abin Sur's Atrocitus is on Earth. And that's why they go to Earth, or Sinestro goes to Earth to try to find him. Hammond is a villain, but he's not like
The thing.
I think
Yeah.
I think that they were gonna eventually thinking probably of going that route. You know what I mean? But it just did not do well.
And yeah, point being, they like take the coolest part of the comic out, and it's like, and then you make like just a poorly executed movie, and it's like,
But then the movie isn't executed correctly, and then they're just going to kind of skip over that, and like we won't get we won't get another version of Hal Jordan.
No.
Another actor playing Hal Jordan. I'm saying
Yeah.
we're going to get a Green Lantern Corps series
Right.
that can be based on Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz, Jon Stewart,
Mhm.
Guy Gardner,
and Raimi-
Kyle.
Kyle Rayner,
Mhm.
possibly. I mean, because they made a bad movie, they
Right.
don't want to cast somebody else as Hal Jordan. We've had 19 people play Batman.
Yep.
This
Mhm.
is true.
I mean,
Yeah.
we
This is
could
true.
get somebody else to play Hal Jordan.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. But I think Deadpool did a good justice when that little after credit when he went and cleaned up the timeline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
That was
Oh,
perfect.
so funny.
That was perfect.
Cleaning
Yeah.
up loose ends.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So if we did we do best movie? Did you say what your favorite was?
My favorite is probably Man of Steel,
Yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
just because I agree with you guys. I think that Henry Cavill's a fantastic
Solid.
Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah, he's super
You know,
solid.
I could tell them apart even when he had the glasses on.
Oh
Mm.
man.
You know, I'm just bragging. I thought that he was really good. I thought Amy Adams was a good Lois Lane. I
Yep.
mean, I
was a solid
enjoyed
movie.
it. Now, I agree with you as far as all the destruction and stuff goes. Is like you're watching this movie and it's like, I go, how much stuff are they just going to destroy and
Just
whatever?
flying through
Right.
buildings. You
And
know
then
what I
they
mean?
connect that to the Batman versus Superman movie. That was cool to
Mhm.
see Batman, genuinely upset. I thought that was a good part of it. I think though too, Henry Cavill, they don't want to let him go. I don't know what's going to happen with Affleck, but they don't want to let Cavill go because he fits that role so well.
Perfectly.
And my second
He's so
favorite
good.
DCEU film is Shazam.
Yeah.
I love Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
He's a
So
really
good.
good
He's solid.
Shazam.
He's great as Shazam because Shazam is a goof.
He's a kid, dude.
He's a
Yeah.
kid and he's trying to do the right thing, but he doesn't really understand
know how to.
do it.
Right.
because he's a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so good. I
love
really
that
enjoyed
movie.
Shazam.
Yeah,
Mm.
I love that movie. It was such a
And
breath of
so
fresh air.
yeah, and I didn't think it had so much heart. I didn't think it was going to be that good.
No, I didn't go into it thinking it was going to be that good. I
No.
think for me, the end little team thing was a little
Yeah, a little goofy.
goof.
Eh.
You know, I wish that they would have paid Cavill whatever money that they needed to pay him so they
For the
showed his
cameo?
face. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Because that would have made it a little bit cooler.
They could have made a joke about it that said something about the mustache.
That's exactly why.
One of the kids could have
Ah.
said something like, "It's like, well, you have a mustache," kind of thing, and not shown him.
Yeah.
And
just-
still, that would have even given a little
He
bit more
looks
context.
different.
And
It's
that
the
would
mustache.
fit the Shazam movie. One of the kids
would.
being like, "Why do you have a mustache?"
Yeah.
That's good.
Well,
Wow.
figured it out for
Yep.
him. So we know that HBO Max will be moving forward. Similar to the tone of what the Plus is going to be doing with
Mhm.
Marvel. They're going to have multiple series. We're going to have a Flashpoint. I don't think we're getting another DC property, streaming or otherwise, for this universe until like the year after.
Yeah, I don't
2022.
I don't know what's
time we're
next.
gonna get. Maybe Aquaman at the end of the year.
That
I don't know.
sounds- That sounds like
Yeah.
something.
I actually kind of like that movie too. The first Aquaman movie.
Oh, great
So
scenes,
wait,
man.
so what was
Great
your favorite?
scenes.
Batman versus Superman was
Batman
your
versus
favorite.
Superman.
Batman versus Superman.
And yours is Shazam.
Shazam, Man versus Steel, or Man
versus Steel.
Mine was Man versus Steel.
Mm.
Least favorite?
Least
No,
favorite.
what's your least
Sorry.
favorite?
Least favorite is probably a tie between Suicide Squad. No, it's Suicide Squad.
Least favorite?
A tie between Justice League and Batman versus Superman.
What's your least favorite?
Suicide Squad.
I think either Green Lantern or Suicide Squad.
Is Green Lantern in that mix?
It can
Oh,
be.
Then
we're
it's
talking
Green
about DC.
Lantern.
Oh,
It
we're
can
talking
be.
about
Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah,
all.
Green Lantern I think is
I'm
probably
doing
the worst
DCU
in the last.
because I
Oh,
think
okay,
it's-
okay.
yeah.
Suicide
Because
Squad.
Catwoman's my answer, and that's not fun for me.
I didn't care for the. I didn't care. We're going all the way back. I don't care for Superman 3 when Richard Pryor hacks the computer and
I watched Constantine today,
Constantine.
and it's
wow.
dope.
It is great.
Constantine's
It's
good.
actually
Keanu.
awesome.
Mhm.
Keanu.
It's dope, dude.
It's really
the
good.
mirror CGI at the very beginning with the demon thing.
That was in 2005,
It's dope.
and it still holds up. They still, I think for me, it's weird not hearing him with an accent, and then Constantine, I know, is blonde. You know what I mean? He wears the suit all the time. He should have a red tie, but they weren't going too obscure.
Right.
He smokes cigarettes in every scene. You
Right.
know what I mean? So it was really good. He had something with like tattoos.
The cross that he could put it together.
Right. I was trying to figure out what that was like, cause was that him like calling an angel, or is like
Something with like one of the testaments
okay.
that he like purified himself or something.
See,
Something cool. Constantine's a really cool
he's
character.
a super
is.
cool character.
That movie was really cool.
He's really OP and deceased right now.
I'm not that far.
And he's going to
Oh.
be part of the Justice League Dark,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
series.
Mm.
That's going to be an HBO Max property. I mean, you know what? They have the potential to do some really cool stuff to where the MCU they know what they're doing. They have their plan.
Right.
This might be what we're going to get from DC.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll just pick and choose. Like,
What's good and what's
that
not.
was all right. That was terrible. The kind of thing. I can't believe that they greenlit a third Wonder Woman movie, this fast. I don't know why they couldn't wait a little bit. And just a side note, why is Diana so sprung on Steve Trevor 76 years
Right.
or 66 years after?
It's the first
1918 is
the
when
first
she meets
man
him.
she's ever
Right.
seen though.
Well,
You realize that when he crashes into
He's got to be packing heat.
you know what I mean? But no, seriously,
Like
just think about it. How old she lives for super long. So she's like, I don't know, at that time when they meet, she's like 400 years old. Let's say that. Maybe not 400,
but
but
she's
like
still like smoking
right,
hot
smokehouse.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you've gone 400 years with just like
or however long. Yeah.
kicking it with the dudes. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
I don't think she is though. I don't think she's kicking it with anybody else.
no, that's what I'm saying though. She was just
Just hanging out with her Amazon.
She's hanging out with her
That's what he
Amazons for
meant,
400. I was
you
trying to relate it to us.
yeah.
Imagine it's just us hanging out for 400 years and Gal Gadot walks in. You're like, I'll love you forever.
and another thing is that I think it's in The Lies. It's kind of explained that Steve Trevor is like some way entranced with the gods or whatever, and he was like kind of like influenced and sent to Themyscira. Like there's a reason he was able to pass through the barrier of Themyscira, and that's why the two are so intertwined. And it's like, so that would help explain why she's so sprung on him.
Right.
If they would take the time
and mention that.
explain
Exactly. Yeah,
or mention that.
Because they spend, like 10 minutes doing, Maxwell Lord, had a bad childhood. They explain all of that, and then, that flashback sequence, like that was great. They explain
touching.
everything.
It was touching.
You
And
know?
it's a 2-hour plus movie. You could give a little background context to what story you're trying to tell.
Right.
They make Barbara Minerva / Cheetah and Maxwell Lord both appeal to the audience
Mhm.
as to where you're borderline kind of feeling sorry for them. They're not intentionally. Neither of them are intentionally trying to become villains.
Right.
They both become villains
Right.
because of what they're searching for, whatever power, whatever abilities.
Right.
they're
And that's
searching
usually
for.
how
They're not
that's how it
intentionally
plays.
trying to do
That's
that.
how it turns,
And
Yeah.
I think an example of a way what I think they were kind of trying to do, maybe not quite to this degree, but Harvey Dent, Two-Face
Mhm.
in The
Mhm.
Dark Knight, he is, for all intents and purposes, a good guy who had something horrible happen to him, and he just breaks. He can't do it anymore. And it's
Damn, I
like
didn't
you
even put Dark
you-
Knight up in the list.
you feel for that character, but also you're like, he's a bad guy, he's the villain.
Right.
Mhm.
But in this with Cheetah and even Maxwell Lord, you're like, I felt like there wasn't really a villain.
No.
I didn't like Maxwell
Just-
Lord. It's like he goes kind of crazy for a little bit, but you're not like, oh, I hate this guy,
Right.
or you're not like,
power-hungry
I understand
people.
where he's coming from, but you got to stop him, or this is that. And it's like at the end, we like him. At the end, we like Cheetah. At the end, we like Wonder Woman. And it's like, I don't know. I just didn't have that like what are some of the best comic book movies? The movies who have iconic, dangerous, powerful villains.
Mm.
And I feel like it was lacking that. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of DC movies now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think he was dangerous. He was definitely like the big bad evil guy. Like he had a lot of power, but what was like the end goal? Because he keeps on saying like the more thing, right? You can
Mhm.
always want more,
Mhm.
push for more, but they never gave him an end cap,
Yeah.
which kind of makes sense because
Yeah.
they're just continuing. But it's really hard to stop the bad guy when there's no end. He just wants to keep growing.
Right.
And then like Cheetah's whole thing is she wants to be seen, right? She wants to be powerful. She wants to be independent, whatever. And then she transitions into the cat, which I honestly think is the best that they've ever done an animal human character in all of whatever.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've seen pictures of Cats, the
Yeah.
movie.
Mm-mm.
That was very bad.
Yeah, no.
And they kept the whole fight scene dark so they could kind of mask it a little bit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So you didn't get too far into it. But I think it was good. When she fell in the water and they were kind of fighting and they had to make it makeup, you can see it lose a little bit. You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and it just feels like Maxwell Lord, like he connected a lot with like Vandal Savage. That was like my
I've
big
heard
thing.
that,
That's
yeah.
what I was like
Yeah.
really focused or dialed
Hmm.
in on. Vandal Savage is the like that immortal man, whatever.
Mhm.
Gets the stone
Throughout time.
grows, and he interacts with a bunch of different people. He interacts with Wonder Woman. He interacts with other,
Yeah.
heroes and
Yeah,
and
because
whatever.
he was Genghis Khan, and he was like every like crazy war leader was
He was-
actually
he was there.
It was
It
it was
Savage,
him.
yeah.
It was Savage.
and that's kind of what when he picks up the rock, or Lord has the rock, I'm like, oh, that's like the connector, but he doesn't. Him becoming it just felt weird. It felt off. And
I want to become this.
I'm gonna become the stone. And like you were saying, like there's rules now to the stone that were just established out of nowhere.
And then there's
And then he
one
switches it up.
Yeah,
switches
there's
it
one
up.
point where his kid touches him and is like, Dad, I want to be great like you. And then the sound goes off like a wish and nothing happens.
Right.
yeah,
and he's like, oh, no.
Nothing happens
Wasn't
at
old
all.
enough or something.
Yeah.
And it's like
Which-
it's
You
like
gotta be
maybe
this
it didn't
tall.
happen because he's not
Right.
great,
Yeah.
But and then when he steals the stone and puts it behind his back and he like leaves with it, and then like a couple minutes later, Barbara Ann's like, yeah, I gave him the stone.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know you knew he took it.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Like you making it sound like you gave it to him. And he
Right.
stole it from you.
right.
Yeah.
He like slept with you and
There's-
stole it from you.
There's some plot points that were just like, what's kind of
Well,
happening?
the FBI thing at the beginning, you have to inspect this because the FBI is coming. She's like, oh, the FBI, that's crazy.
Right.
They never mentioned that again.
Right, no,
No.
not at
Yeah.
all.
So
So was this really worth the wait? Like,
no,
what it was pushed back because they wanted to release it on Christmas because they knew that would be probably the most money that they could make. A lot of
Mm.
people are going to go see Christmas movies.
it's not doing bad.
No, it's not doing bad,
No.
but it's definitely not doing Christmas pre-COVID numbers.
No.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Was it worth the wait? No. Was it nice to go see a movie in the movie theaters?
It was cool to
Yes.
see a movie in the movie theaters.
You know,
I always
so
enjoyed doing that, especially with you guys.
you
It
know,
was good to spend an evening watching the movie with you guys,
Yep.
even though we're all making similar faces to each other. Like
something
what?
would happen. I look over. I'm like,
Sonny
What?
would like he would be laughing at something, and then I would be laughing at something. None of the things were supposed to be funny.
nothing was supposed to be funny
Oh
at
my
all.
lord! The scene where Steve Trevor's turning back into not to mention was stealing somebody else's life. By the way,
Right.
Correct.
But the
She was
scene where
sleeping with a
morals.
dude that didn't even know he was.
And then that's
they
a whole
see-
nother thing.
And then they see each other
yeah,
Come
at
on.
the end of the
And he's
During
wearing
the
the
Macy's
outfit?
commercial.
It's like a Macy's
Yeah.
commercial.
The
at
Macy's
the end.
commercial.
That was
That-
added, by the way.
That is my biggest issue with that movie, and that's why I can't rank it. Because
Ooh,
the ending was a Macy's commercial. That whole thing.
that's
It's
true.
It's shot with a different camera, different
Yeah.
lighting, different everything. It's in a weird studio. It looks. I can't handle that part.
That's
Yeah.
it's true. No, I feel you.
I had to rewind it because I thought it was like an advertisement for something else.
You're like, wait, what?
And I could rewind it because it was a luxury of
Dude, you
video.
didn't know there were ads in
television.
it.
Do you
on
like
HBO
my
Max.
outfit? Oh, my friends always laugh at me
And,
for it.
Yeah.
and then it's like snowing.
do
and
they
then-
though? Like, no, they don't. No one laughs at somebody's outfit like that.
I don't know. That was a weird time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That snow part, man, that really messes me up.
That wasn't good.
But
That
yeah,
was not okay.
So that
Like-
scene where he's turning back into it, it's like, love Gal Gadot. She's not a good actor, I don't think. At least
No.
acting across from somebody, because it's on Steve Trevor, Chris Pine. He's like, I gotta go. You gotta let me go. And you're like, yeah, I feel it. And then it turns, she's like, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny. You're not good at acting.
She's hot though.
It does it shows when, you know, I think you got the Mandalorian in the movie and he's killing it, you know what I mean? And like you said, Gal Gadot's not the best actress, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know what's happening.
Try not to burp in the mic.
oh, okay. I
Oh.
was one person
doing
looked
that
there.
I've been doing that too.
Yeah.
No, I think the level of acting was a little all over the place. I think we're all kind of in agreement that it didn't even get a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What movie do you think we have next? I don't even know what's supposed to be coming out.
For HBO Max or just for theaters in general? I mean,
Yeah, you know, theaters in general for any of the things. I don't know what's coming out next.
I just
the only
want it to
thing
be
I'm looking
good.
forward to is WandaVision
Right.
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
we got about 2.5 weeks. You know, that's going to be out. So
It was 2 weeks and some change, right?
2 weeks and some change. Yeah.
Mm.
So
We
we'll be
have
watching that.
we have all this. We didn't even mention any of the Star Wars stuff. Have you been keeping up on everything?
Yeah.
Oof,
Yeah.
so good.
It's out there now.
It's good.
We're about to get everything.
Like 10 shows.
Like 10 shows. We're gonna get that anime series. I'm out of all of them, I'm the most excited for Ahsoka. I think everyone should be.
yeah,
like-
it's gonna show what's been going on, and I think we're gonna get a lot more characters.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a lot more characters.
Might get Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
We're for sure getting Ezra.
Thrawn. Do we get Thrawn?
In the Ahsoka? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
What's his name? Cumberbatch. Cumberpatch. Doctor Strange.
Backpack.
Backpack Cumberpatch.
Cucumber melon.
He would be a good Thrawn.
He would.
That's what people are talking about. Yeah.
He looks the
good.
part. He would do well.
Yeah.
Ooh, we should do that like a theory casting of stuff that's coming out.
All right. I'm down.
We'll do that one.
Yes, sir.
I'm with it. So we mentioned a little bit. What are you looking forward to as far as like reading that's coming up the next week or month or whatever? We got Death Metal's gonna be ending pretty soon.
I'm excited about that. Very
Um,
excited about that.
I recently just got stoked on King in Black.
Yeah,
It's really good right now. It's really, really good.
it's a crazy series. Sonny and I kind of talked about this, that they've got so many tie-ins to King in Black. that
It's a
you,
lot, dude.
you want to
it's a
stick
lot.
to like the main series. If you are reading King in Black, I mean, there's a mini series that was set before King in Black takes place. It's Symbiote Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Rocket Raccoon's in it.
Nice.
You know, it's fun series. It's
Mhm.
only a couple issues too, but it's based a few years prior to what happened to the King in Black.
Nice.
There's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy miniseries that takes place the same time as the King in Black. Also,
think it's
about
like-
4 issues.
Weren't we talking about like it's like 20 or something different tie-ins? It's
There's
like
there's
12 or
20
something.
different titles
Okay.
that are going to be tied into the King in Black because Null
Moly.
and,
Dude.
and
Yeah.
all the different symbiote dragons, creatures, whatever you want to call them.
Everything, dude.
They're attacking everyone in the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
They brought back the Black Cat series as an ongoing series to have her involved in this.
Right now, Iron Man has a symbiote iron suit.
That's kind of dope.
Oh, that's right. The not extremist. What is it?
It's called like the Nullifier or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, so cool.
There's a lot of
It's
stuff.
really cool right now.
A lot- that would be a good thing to buy as like a collected edition, the
Yes.
hardcover
Absolutely.
type of thing once it's complete.
Mhm.
Because you're trying to keep up with all that stuff. Like it's a week to week thing. It's going to be for 4 months, 3.5 months, whenever they have the release schedule, and then they've got 2 or 3 tie-ins. There were 3 tie-ins to the series before the first issue came out,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I mean it's
I
going to
felt
be
like I
it's
was
a
drawn in
lot.
with death metals. Like there's tie-ins or one shots which have been really good for the most part,
Yeah.
and then I think like the only other title that's got tie-ins with it is Justice League. Am I wrong about that?
Justice League is like the only ongoing title that ties
Yeah,
into
exactly.
it,
And
it's
I
all
feel
the
like I was
Starro
drowning with
stuff.
that, so I was
Yeah.
like,
This is it's crazy, and they're kind of it's not like it's all over the place either. It's a story, and it's progressing. I think for December they brought in like not I'm just trying to get you guys a little hyped, because Marvel could do this and it could still be cool. A symbiote took over Santa Claus,
What?
Oh snap.
and he has reindeers.
that's right. I
Ah.
always forget that.
Reindeers.
I always forget that Santa Claus is like a legitimate
it's a
character
legitimate
in Marvel.
person in Marvel.
Yeah.
He's like a mutant, right?
He has powers and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, he just Doctor Doom shows up and he's talking with Iron Man. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and they both see in the sky and they're like, "What the?" And he's like, "It can't be." Doctor Doom's like, That's impossible." Blah 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 blah. And they literally like it's Saint Nick, and it's literally like not zombie but like a symbiote kind of version of Santa Claus. And it's kind of cool. They kind of go the issue kind of goes back and forth with them. Tony Stark's like, "Dude, I gotta kill Santa Claus." Like, really?
That's crazy.
So it's pretty cool. It's really cool.
I want to. Oh, sorry about that.
No, I'm just saying that's what I'm looking forward to.
I want to suggest 2 things that I've read recently to people watching. One, you gave me Something's Killing the Children, Volume 1. Like,
Told you.
you guys, these guys. I read that like quick. I texted you
Told
guys
you.
like
It's
2
been
hours.
2
after,
hours.
and it
I'm
was
done.
so good. It
Mhm.
was so good. It's self-contained, doesn't have anything else to it, and I cannot wait for Frank to give me.
I got the
second volume.
second, the second volume.
And
Ready to give
then
that to you.
something that came out in 2010, kind of around the transition from Grant Morrison writing Batman, which was super complicated, which I love, and Snyder taking over, which was a little less complicated at first, at least, and which is I loved. It's called Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader by Neil Gaiman, and I think it's legitimately one of the best Batman stories. And although it's a kind of a story about how he dies, I think it's the best comic for someone who hasn't read comics before to pick up and read.
That's
Because it's
cool.
basically like there's
That's
a
really
funeral going on, and there's all these characters that come. You don't really need to know who they are. They explain a whole bunch of different stuff, and it's like a love letter to Batman and to understand what Batman is really about. And there's no continuity to it or anything like that. And
That's
it's
good.
short. I think it's 2 issues. It takes 30 minutes to read if you're a slow reader. I don't know. And it was so good. I read it and
That's
I was like, that is Batman. That is what Batman is about.
Mm.
And that is why I love
That's
Batman.
awesome.
Yeah, it's so incredible.
What was the title again?
I think it's Batman. Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader, or just
Okay.
Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader by
Okay.
Neil Gaiman
All right.
and who is it that did the art? I want to say Kubert or
It might
Andy
have been Kubert, you're
but
right.
yeah, it's really really good.
Sweet.
Jonathan, what about you?
Oh man. Well, Dad had to turn me on to the Science Killing the Children. Found it at a shop up there in the Pacific Northwest. It
You
was
couldn't
great.
avoid it.
Couldn't avoid it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, after all the messages and stuff, I read it. It's amazing.
It's awesome, dude.
It's amazing.
It's so awesome. The
Um,
artwork is great.
But yeah, while I was there, I saw like the different Nimbuses or like collector issues of just stuff.
Mhm.
So like picked up like Carnage USA
Ooh.
and some other like 2010, 2013 range of like symbiote stuff because I want to
Nice.
prep. But
Yeah.
once this is all over, then I'm gonna get it all and read it.
Nice.
I can't be a week to week person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gotta wait
That's
until
hard
I
for
have
me
a
too.
definite end cap, you
Right.
know? Because like, what if you tried to do week to week with Civil War 2? It was impossible.
Yeah.
The amount of tie-ins and stuff like that back then.
It's,
So
it's kind of like how the Doomsday Clock was going,
forever.
I love that
So
comic.
forever,
but
like 2.5
holy moly.
years.
Dude,
Oh man.
one every 6 months. I'm like, did Superman punch him? What happens?
I have all the individual issues, but when it finally came out, I was like, I'm buying the freaking paperback and I'm reading it all. And I read it all at once, and I liked it reading it individually and trying to catch up. But reading it all at once, I love that story.
Yeah.
But the way they had it come out over, like you said, what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Holy guacamole,
Man,
ridiculously long. We would
Mhm.
talk about it, and we're like, all right, talk about it in 6 months. You know what I mean?
And then you're
Like,
like, what happened in
forever.
the last issue? I don't
No,
know.
yeah.
I read it 60 days ago.
right.
It
Yeah.
feels like Doomsday Clock ended a couple of months ago. Doomsday Clock came out the same time as Dark Knight's Metal,
Yeah,
and we're on Death Metal, the follow-up miniseries,
which is
that
about
other-
to end.
which is about to end.
wow.
That's how long it's taken. I'm really interested in reading, future issues of Something Is Killing the Children. I've mentioned Die,
Die
which
is what I'm
is
stoked
a
for, man.
Jumanji, Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons type of mashup thing. There's 3 collected editions. It's written by Kieran Gillen, who also wrote Once and Future.
Yeah.
He's also going to be writing the new Eternals ongoing series for Marvel. So he's got a lot on his plate right now.
Say, resume
Die is on hiatus until April.
Okay.
So I've got
good time to catch up.
got the
Yep.
collected editions for you guys to read. We'll kind of like pass them around and
Absolutely.
check them all out.
Sounds good.
Those are really good. The art's really cool. But as far as DC, as far as like the mainstream titles, DC is gonna be doing this future state thing. I'm interested
Yeah.
in all the different takes that they have on a new Suicide Squad, Justice League, Batman, Harley Quinn. It's gonna be sort of like a 2-month window.
Mhm.
It's gonna be January and February, and then in March, all the new creative teams are gonna be taking over a lot of our ongoing series. I
Yeah.
think they keep with the numbering,
Sweet.
but we mentioned Tom Taylor, who's written Deceased,
Yeah.
is going to be writing Nightwing. I think Williamson is going. Oh no, Bendis is going to be writing Justice League.
Mm.
I'm excited for that because I think that Bendis has taken. I'm not super excited about the lineup, but I think
Yeah,
that
we kind of talked about that.
the lineup looks a little wonky.
Yeah.
But I think that I want to give Bendis a shot because I've liked what he's done with not everything, but I've liked what he's done for the most part
Yeah.
with
more
action
than
and
less.
Superman.
Yeah.
I thought he's done a good job. His Superman run has been great.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's kind of sad to see him leaving it, but
Right.
they'll have somebody on there that'll be mainstream. Tinian's gonna stay with Batman, so it sounds
I
like
love
for
that.
the foreseeable future
I
he'll be
love
staying
that.
on Batman.
I
So
love that.
that'll be good.
Keeps the stories connected. you
Batman
know what I
always
mean?
has good continuity with its writers. Like
Yeah.
it's been Morrison, Snyder, and Tinian for the past 15 years, and no one really else, unless there's like
That's
a limited
fine.
series, which
Right.
is so much better for the comic.
Totally fine with that.
It is.
Oh, and Tom King. I forgot about Tom King. So 4 people.
Tom King's good.
Tom King and his what 80 issues of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, before they booted him off
That
Mm.
sucks, dude.
to do the
Oh.
Batman Catwoman miniseries or maxi series. Whatever.
That's what his Batman run was, anyways. The Batman Catwoman series.
Yeah,
But-
that's going to be the
yeah.
end of whatever his Batman run was going to be.
Yep.
They turned it into this series, and Phantasm is actually going to be part of. It'll be the first time Phantasm appears in the comics. Is
Which is
supposed to
nice.
be in this Batman
That's pretty cool.
Catwoman
That's cool.
series ongoing.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like King to Tinian. Kind of reminds me of Morrison to Snyder, because Morrison was still finishing up Batman Incorporated when Snyder
Mhm.
was writing Court of Owls,
Good point.
which everyone should read.
Court of
Um,
Owls is so awesome.
And so it sounds like King is finishing that up while Tinian is taking over Batman. Kind of similar.
There's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff, man, and I think they're doing really good with the comics, and I think they're doing, like we said, they're doing really good with the animated series. We got to pick it up with these live actions. This
100%.
Wonder Woman movie really just kind of it bummed me out, man. It really did,
Yeah.
Mm.
So we'll see. They definitely don't have the Kevin Feige over there. They definitely don't have someone that's sitting in the chair. I mean, what's his title? It's president of Marvel Studios. So it's like period.
Yeah.
Not creative director of this or of this. So we'll see what we get.
Yeah.
James Gunn's Suicide Squad. That's the thing that they have coming out that I'm most excited
That's
for.
right.
That
Forgot
is
about
right.
that until just
Forgot.
now.
Yeah.
Like August.
So
August
I don't
or
know when
I think
anything's coming out at
yeah,
this
I
point.
think
On
that-
Max,
well,
right?
who knows? But I
Yeah.
think it's going to come out in August.
On Max.
Yeah, on Max.
Yeah. Let's hope that's awesome.
I hope so.
I mean, you got Cena. You're safe.
He got his own spinoff from it.
I know.
There's going to be a Peacemaker series. Yeah. That Gunn is also going to be doing.
We don't even know if he's a good character yet, though. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
Someone must have liked it.
someone liked it.
Someone liked it.
We'll see.
Jonathan, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks.
this was awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're glad that you made it over here.
Mm-hmm.
Come kick it in the studio.
Made it to Las Vegas, but made it over here to the studio to be here with us tonight. And thank you to everybody who's been watching us for the past couple of months. We appreciate the support.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And we're gonna be back next year, which is about 5 or 6 days. We'll be back next year with a lot of stuff. We've got a jam-packed January
Yeah, dude.
planned for you guys.
For sure.
We've got a lot of stuff coming. But again, thank you for the support. We do appreciate it. Paul, as always, thank you for being here.
Oh, well, I'm always super happy to be here.
It's gonna be a good one, guys. I'm grateful that we got things going. Next year is gonna be good. Like you said, we got some good plans heading for it. I don't know. I'm not doing anything crazy for New Year's. You guys do anything crazy? Wilding out.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Everybody be safe and have a good one.
Eat pizza.
Kind of stole my line. Be safe and have a wonderful time.
Oh,
Boom.
boom.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to next year. How about that?
Yeah,
Perfect.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're ahead of the game. Perfect.
Wonder Woman got a 4 out of 10 for me. That's my.
That's your sign off for the year.
Just make sure people know.
No, seriously. Be nice to people. Love you.
Yeah, guys. Go read some comics. Be nice to people, and we'll see you next year. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thanks, guys. We love you. Peace.